Welcome back. All right, so 10 games tonight in the NHL, some surprising results, some not so surprising results, and some fun games all in the mix. So let's go ahead and start things off with Columbus and Arizona. We have some teams right now that are really hard for me to rate on the infamous power rankings board because they're up one game and they're down the next. And Columbus is a really good example. So it's Ingram versus Tarasov in this one. The shots are 2-1 for the Coyotes at 5 minutes. And I thought, this is strange because Columbus should come out and should take care of Arizona. Line A has a shot that's blocked. Columbus presses at 7 minutes. Corrali couldn't bury one, then things get kind of scrummy after that at the net, which tends to happen when Corrali's around the net. The Coyotes get a power play and they score on it. Yeah, it's Goss to spare from Boyd and Mosier at 9:24. The Coyotes' power play's been pretty good early in the season. It's clearly helping them out here. Coyotes press for more. Goudreau had a rush chance. That deflects out. Werenski has a shot that's held as Columbus presses. They press again with 5 minutes left, but it's Cassian at 15:52 from Ritchie, and it's a wraparound. It's the fourth shot, and you need a save there. You really need a save there from Tarasov, and it doesn't happen. With 3:31 left, Columbus gets a power play. Line A has a blasted save. That's killed off. It's 2-0 Arizona after the first, and Columbus fans not happy. Second period, early chances for the Coyotes. They end up getting themselves a power play. It becomes 41 seconds of 5-on-3. Loud booing. Really loud booing. However, when it's all killed off, there's some cheers. Not as loud as the booing was before, but there's cheers. So shots are 4-2 for the Coyotes at 7.5 minutes, and then Gostisbehere gets his second goal of the game from Keller and Brown at 7:42. So Shane Gostisbehere's off to another really good start this year for Arizona. That makes it 3-0. Coyotes press at 9 minutes. However, they take a too many men on the ice call. Columbus gets a power play, and this brings the booing back because that power play was not very good. Arizona does kill it off. Coyotes get another power play, and if you want to boo again, well, you can, because Gunther scores on the power play from Valimaki and Michelli at 15:22, and that's the end of Tarasov's night. There were some cheers as Tarasov left, and I felt bad for him because he had a really good game last time out. And Elvis is in. Line A can't bury one on a rush. There's a power play for Columbus. That's killed off. So going to the third period, and early in the third, McBain scores on a rush from O'Brien at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Post and in. Beautiful shot by McBain. Columbus presses for an answer. Eventually they get it. They get on the board. It's Goudreau from Werenski and Bean at 6:45. So Johnny Goudreau keeps the streak going there. Columbus gets a power play. Unsuccessful. Then Carolina gets a power play. It's a 4-minute power play. Things get kind of punchy with 4:55 left. Columbus comes out of that with a power play, so there's a lot of power plays not successful. After all that's done, Kent Johnson scores from Nyquist and Sillinger at 17:24. So Columbus pulls the goaltender, because why not? And Arizona scores. Krause into the empty net from Gostisbehere and Keller at 19:40. But before the game's out, Peak makes the score a little bit less embarrassing from Corrali and Bean at 19:51. Your final score is 6-3 in favor of the Arizona Coyotes. They're now 2-4 on the season. Columbus is 3-5. So your final score in this one is 6-3. 2-4 for Arizona, 3-5 for Columbus. Shots 11-4 Columbus in the first, 11-8 Arizona in the second, 14-4 Columbus in the third. Final shots are 33-19 for the Blue Jackets. Power plays, Arizona 2 for 6, Columbus 0 for 5. The hits were 24-14 for Columbus. So they outshot him, they outhit him. Ingram, 30 saves on 33 shots. Good game and a bounce back from his last start. Tarasov saves 8 out of 12, and Merzlikin saves 5 out of 6. Rough night for Columbus, and at 3-5, 10% of the way into the season, that's not how you want to start if you're them. All right, next up, Boston. So the Dallas Stars in against the Boston Bruins. It was Ottinger versus Ullmark. There's an early power play for the Bruins, which becomes a 4-on-4 shortly thereafter. Miller has a shot that's saved. The Bruins clear it out. Everything gets killed off, and the shots at that stage are 5-2 for Dallas. So they came out well in this one. Frederick then had a shot that was saved. Power play number 2 for Boston. That's killed off by Dallas. Boston manages 2 shots. So Miller versus Clifton, decent brawl, or decent fight right there. Not a brawl, fight. Bruins end up coming out of that with a power play, and Pastrnak scores on the power play from Lindholm and Krejci at 12:49. So that makes it 1-0. Stars press with 5 minutes left. Bruins keep the Stars to the outside. and Coyle has a rush chance that's saved. So it's 1-0 Boston after 1. Going into the second period, very evenly played game overall. Early jump for the Bruins, but on the first shot of that period, Johnston scores his 3rd goal of the season. Not bad for a rookie at 1:48. Bergeron then has a shot that deflects wide. Robertson had a rush chance that was blocked out. The Stars press. Again, they're kept to the outside. Clifton has a blast that's held. The dislikes ramping up at this point. Things were pretty physical in this game. These teams don't really like each other by this stage. Stars get a power play. The Bruins don't let them set up. That power play is killed off. Forbert throwing some big hits late in the period. That brought the fans to their feet. There was a Hall to Krejci near miss at the net, and then Hall gets the goal from Pasternak and Grzelcyk at 18:57. In the final minute of the period, the Stars pressed to answer. So it's 2-1 Boston after 2, and the shots were almost even. The score's almost even. Really, really solid game. Third period, there's a press by the Stars at 1.5 minutes. The Stars had a 3-on-2. Boston breaks that up. The shots are 5-1 for Dallas at 6.5 minutes. There's a power play for them. There was a near miss by Sagan and Gurianov during that power play. Coyle then had a rush opportunity that ended the penalty kill for Boston. Pasternak couldn't bury one. The Stars cleared out. Gurianov had the net drive. That was poke checked by Ullmark very strategically there. With 6:19 left, the Bruins get a power play. The Stars don't really let them get set up. That's killed off. They would pull the goaltender, those Dallas Stars would, but Boston would get the empty netter, and it's Bergeron at 19:33. So he gets a goal. Pasternak with a goal and an assist. Boston wins 3-1. They go to 6-1 on the season. The Dallas Stars drop to 4-2-1. I think Boston's play is getting better as the year goes along now. They had some wins that were kind of not great. The one over Arizona comes to mind. The one over Minnesota comes to mind, but this was a nice solid win. And so your shots are 11-10 Dallas in the first, 12-10 Boston in the second, 10-7 Dallas in the third. Final shots 31-29 for the Stars. Power plays, Dallas 0 for 3, Boston 1 for 4. The hits 32-28 for Dallas. Ottinger saves 26 out of 28, and Ullmark saves 30 out of 31. So entertaining game between my two of my favorite teams, right? And nobody got hurt that I saw in this game. And so yeah, I mean Dallas now it's a bit of a losing streak they're on. They might want to turn this around. We'll see if they can. All right, next up, Minnesota in against the Montreal Canadiens, and I still think Minnesota's going to turn this around. There's plenty of time left. It was Fleury versus Allen. Dvorak fires wide on a 2-on-1. Then the Habs get a power play. Easy for me to say, right? That's killed off. No shots. Dumba with a net feed. That's blocked. The Wild press at 4.5 minutes. Eriksson Ek would eventually open the scoring for the Minnesota Wild from Duhaime and Middleton at 5:52. That was on a 3-on-1 as the Habs make a line change. The Habs pressed to answer. Drouin then prevented a Wild goal in front of the net. Shots are 6-4 Minnesota at 9 minutes. Evans had a tip on a rush. That was held. Gaudreau misses wide on a net drive. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. That became a 4-on-3 for the Minnesota Wild. So rolling into the second period, there were 29 seconds left on what was then a 5-on-4 for Minnesota. They don't score. That's killed off. And then Caulfield ties the game. He scores from Weidman and Monahan at 1:07. So it's 1-1 there. The Habs get a power play. Dumba blocks a shot from Hoffman. The power play is killed off, but the Habs had chances. That power play looked good. The Wild then get a power play. Rossi has a shot that's saved. That's killed off. The Habs then get a power play, becomes a 4-on-4. A lot of power plays at this stage of the game. The Wild press during the 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off, and then the Habs had a little bit of a rush opportunity themselves. But then it's Duhaime, who is starting to put up some points this year. He scores from Gaudreau on a rush at 12:48. We then had 2 minutes of 4-on-4. There's a net feed to Gaudreau, near miss there. The ref is told that he sucks for a call that wasn't made on Minnesota. Last minute, there's a press by the Habs, but it's 2-1 Minnesota after 2. Third period. Early zone time for the Habs. They press at 2.5 minutes, but the shots are only 2-0 in their favor at 4 minutes, so they're not getting enough shots on the net. Doc with a rush chance, that was held. Hoffman then draws a penalty shot. That was saved by Fleury. Fleury had his best game of the season so far. Shots are 5-0 for the Habs at 8 minutes, so Minnesota not generating much of anything at that point. Boldy had a rush chance that's held. With 56 seconds left, the Habs call a timeout. They had the goalie pulled at that stage, which allows Eriksson Ek to hit the empty net with his second goal of the game at 19:29. Your final score is 3-1 for Minnesota. They got this one out on the road. They go to 2-3-1 in the season. Montreal drops 2-3-4 on the season. The shots 11-6 Minnesota in the first, 14-9 Minnesota in the second, 12-6 Montreal in the third. Final shots 31-27 for Minnesota. Power plays, both teams go for 3. The hits were 19-10 for the Wild. Fleury saves 26 out of 27, and Allen saves 28 out of 30. All right, next up, New Jersey in against Detroit. So scoring seeming to come down in some of these games, and I expect that to continue. This was not a game where scoring was down, not even close. So it was Vanacek versus Nedeljkovic, early press by the Wings, and eventually they get the first goal. It's Larkin at 2:56 from Kubalik and Ernie, and Kubalik is fitting in so well with Detroit. And that went under Vanacek's arm. So all I thought was Vanacek might be in for a rough night. That's one that he kind of want to get there, right? Wings look for another, but the Devils would press at 6 minutes, and they start putting up a lot of shots. This is what New Jersey does now. Mercer would score on a turnover from Marino and Graves at 11:25, and then the Devils, with that momentum, they push for the lead. The shots are 9-3 for the Devils with 5 minutes left. They would keep up that pressure, and at 15-16, Hughes scores from Bratt and Haula. So now they have a lead. Detroit looked like they were considering a challenge, but they didn't challenge it. They even had challenge on the screen there, but they took it off because Detroit didn't actually challenge that goal. So the score is 2-1 New Jersey after one. Second period, there's a delay game call that gives the Devils a power play, and they don't waste any time. It's Jesper Bratt at 43 seconds from Hughes and Hamilton. The Wings press at 4.5 minutes. They get a power play. This is their chance to get it back. However, it's a shorthanded goal instead. It's Sharon Govich. And you know, I was thinking about this. Sharon Govich starts with an SH and it has a G in there, so it makes sense that Sharon Govich would get the SHG, right? So he scores from Graves at 4:54, and then the Devils kill the rest. There's your big momentum swing in New Jersey's favor. The shots are 6-4 in their favor at 7 minutes. Mercer then had a chance on a turnover that was held. The Wings, no room, no momentum out there. Devils closing off the middle of the ice. 32.3 seconds left. The Wings get a power play, so that rolls over into the third period, where the Devils did finish killing that off. Zetterlund then had a rush chance. That was fired wide. No room for the Wings again. It was amazing to watch how New Jersey cut off the middle of the ice. Larkin then had a net drive that was defended. The Wings get a power play. That's killed off. But then Kubalik scores. So he gets a goal to go with his assist from earlier from Hagen Rasmussen at 8:17. That was on a face-off win, and it got the fans back into it. Had them thinking, hey, you know, we're down by 2. We might be able to come back. It's New Jersey. We can do this. Well, the fans got into it. The Wings had some momentum. There's a goal line stand then by Vanacek. There's some pushing after that. But then Hischier with a spin-around shot that goes into the net from Tatar at 15:38. And then at 16:27, not even a minute later, it's Bratt from McLeod. So, yeah, he wired that one on a rush, and he puts this one out of reach. Your final score is 6-2 for New Jersey. Impressive bounce back. And New Jersey's a team that, so you know how bad they looked last night? That's how good they look tonight. I have no idea. Shots are 15-5 New Jersey in the first, 15-8 in the second for New Jersey, and 11-9 for New Jersey in the third. Final shots 41-22 for the Devils. Power plays, the Devils 1 for 1, Detroit 0 for 3. The hits were 29-16 for Detroit. Vanacek saves 20 out of 22. Nedeljkovic 35 out of 41. The Devils are now one game above 500 again. They're at 4-3. Detroit, they finally get that first regulation loss. They're now 3-1-2 on the season. So yeah, this year it feels like it's going to be different. I said it before the season started. I really think we're going to see a lot of teams close together. We'll see if that continues to be the case, but just the unpredictability of how a team's going to look from one game to the next is weird. Because it just, and I know it's an early season thing, but yeah, it's Jekyll and Hyde with so many teams right now. All right, next up and last on this board is Colorado and the Rangers. This felt like a playoff game. This right from the opening faceoff, and it might have been because it's Georgiev against Shesterkin, the former backup against the starter, right? Makar has a chance that deflects out. The shots are 3-1 for the Avs at 3.5 minutes. Georgiev denies Panarin. Lindgren had a rush chance that was saved. The Avs are cutting off New York Rangers' chances as well. We get a power play for Colorado. Net feed to Lehkonen. Near miss there. And then it's Nichushkin on the power play. Yep. He scores from Makar and McKinnon at 11:40. So Nichushkin stays red hot. And the Avs at that point, 10 for 18 on their power play this year. That's a good number. If you're above 50%, good for you. Things get punchy after a hold by Igor, because that will happen. The Avs get another power play. Rantanen with a shot that's held, that was killed off, so another 10 for 19. Miller was denied as the Rangers press, and then Kravtsov had a rush chance that was defended. But after one period, it's 1-0 for Colorado. Second period, full Rangers power play to start. The Avs don't let them set up, and they managed to kill that off. So really big kill there by Colorado against a Rangers team that has a pretty darn good power play. O'Connor has a rush that's saved. The Rangers press at 5 minutes. The shots are 7-3 in favor of the home team, 7 minutes into this period. Rantanen's robbed on a breakaway. The Avs get a power play. That was killed off. And then did they score? The ref says no. Kreider, it was close. He thought it might be, but yeah, it does not go in. Panarin then had a net feed. That's killed. And Panarin had a net feed that was held. The power play is killed off, and then shortly thereafter at 18:06, Barclay Goodrow, he gets a goal from Trouba and Blaine. So Blaine with his first assist of the season, nice to see that, and it ties up the game. 35.5 seconds left, the Rangers get a power play, so that rolls over into the third period, and Colorado gets a shorthanded goal. It's O'Connor from Cogliano at 59 seconds, took the puck away from Igor. Great play by Cogliano, nice forecheck. And it's in the back of the net. And then the Avs finish the kill. That's the important thing when you get the shorthanded goal. Kravtsov hurt his arm, went off onto the bench. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully it's not a big deal. The shots are 7-3 for the Rangers at 4.5 minutes. So the Rangers coming out strong here. The Avs press at 5.5 minutes. Rantanen has a chance to deflect out. Lafreniere had a net drive. That was defended. And then at 14:03, the Rangers do tie it. It's Fox from VC and Goodrow. So VC finally gets on the board with a point. And that was a rush, cross-ice pass, and in. Not much chance for Georgiev on that. So we go to overtime. The Avs controlled early. The New York Rangers get it. There was turnover after turnover out there. Not your standard overtime where one team just rags the puck and waits, and then the other team rags the puck and waits. Really didn't happen that way here. Panarin steals one from McKinnon. Trouba then had a shot that was held. Nichushkin had a rush chance that was held as well. Panarin fires one wide on a rush, but he draws a power play. That power play unsuccessful. We go to a shootout. In the shootout, Rodriguez with the winner. So in a shootout, Colorado wins 3-2. They go to 4-2-1 on the season. The Rangers drop to 3-2-2. But again, it felt like a power play, or it felt like a playoff game, and it was really, really good. Your shots, 20-11 Colorado in the first. Yeah, Shesterkin was busy, and then in the second, it was 15-7 for the Rangers. In the third, 17-14 for the Rangers. It was a track meet. In the overtime, 5-3 for the Rangers, also a track meet. Final shots, 46-44 for the Rangers. Power plays, Colorado 1 for 3, the Rangers 0 for 4. Hits, 39-24 for the Rangers. Georgiev saves 44-46. Absolutely great game by Georgiev. And Shesterkin saves 42 out of 44 at the other end. Both goaltenders played really well. It was a delight to watch that game. It was a lot of fun. And now I need to change sports. All right, so Florida in against the Chicago Blackhawks. Something's off with Florida this year. I don't know what it is, but there's something different with Florida this year, comparatively speaking, with last year. They still have good third periods, but it just feels like something's not quite clicking with them. So it's Bobrovsky versus Stalock. Early jump for the Hawks. They end up getting themselves a power play, and they score on it on their second shot. It's Taylor Radish from Tyler Johnson and Patrick Kane at 247 or 257, I should say. Nice one there. Shots are 3-2 for Chicago at 7 minutes. The Hawks have a 2-on-1. That misfires. Slow first half for Florida. Really, really quiet first half. Gudas fires one wide. The Panthers press. They have a long stretch without a whistle. Better second half, I should say, of the period for Florida. But the Hawks press with a minute and a half left, and before the period's out, the Hawks have doubled their lead. It's Kane from Athanasiou and Domi at 1937, so I wrote under that. Never mind. In reference to the Florida better second half. Doesn't matter, they allowed a goal. So second period, the Hawks, they're down. They're down a lot. There's a 4-minute power play for the Panthers. That's killed off easily by the Hawks. At least they made it look easy. Panthers go back to the power play, so they kill that one off too. The shots are 4-3 for the Panthers at 9.5 minutes. Considering that they're 6 minutes shorthanded for Chicago, yeah, you'll take that. And then there's another power play for Florida. Then it becomes a 5-on-3 for a minute and 35 seconds. These are legit penalties too. Like, it's undisciplined play by the Hawks. Bennett was denied. The Hawks cleared it out. There's a near miss for Lundell. It's all killed off. I think these guys should go get lottery tickets tomorrow. The Hawks get a power play. They can't set it up. There was a shorthanded rush by Barkov. That was defended. Power play's killed off. And then Kurashev. Yeah, Kurashev scores the third goal of the game for Chicago from Entwistle and Caleb Jones at 15:58. And that was right after Forsling took a shot to the foot. He was clearly in a lot of pain, couldn't put any weight on it. So that made it essentially like a 5-on-4. Things get scrummy after goaltender interference by Domi, which leads to it being a 4-on-4. It was going to be a power play, but I don't mind a penalty in that situation. You see a guy, hit your goaltender. Yeah, you go over and let him know that's not acceptable. The ref gave this was funny. So players are going to the bench, going to the boxes, and I'm not sure which one he was giving the side eye to, but he's got his arm out and he's just glaring as they're going to the box. And as a parent, I know that glare well. That's one of those go to your room, and then the kids kind of stomping as they go, and you're like, seriously. That's what it reminded me of. I love it. I love it when a referee comes across as like a parent. So we go to the third period. The Panthers press early. Tyler Johnson's shaken up on a hit. Lundell gets denied and close. Domi had a rush chance that was defended. The shots are 5-3 for the Panthers at 8.5 minutes, which I think you'll take. 5 shots against with Florida being as dangerous as they are. Yeah, you'll take that. However, at 11:32, Luostarinen scores from White and Barkov. So Luostarinen, who's been off to a good start, gets another one. Panthers press for more and they get it. 12:47, it's Tkachuk from Montour and Verhaeghe. Panthers then get a power play, but that's killed off. The Florida Panthers power play, which was a staple for them last year and seemed to turn the momentum in their favor, is hurting them right now. So it's all Panthers with 3 minutes left. They pull the goaltender with a little over 2 minutes left, but with 23 seconds left, it's Jonathan Toews. He beats out an icing, and he wraps it around into the open net because it's an empty net. Dickinson with the assist there, so Dickinson with another point. Your final score is 4-2 for Chicago, who are 4-2 on the season, and drop Florida to 4-2-1. So hey, the Hawks, they look legit. The shots in this one, 7 apiece in the first, 9 apiece in the second, and then 15-6 Florida in the third. Final shots 31-22 for the Panthers. Power plays, Florida 0 for 6, Chicago 1 for 2. Hits 29-17 for Chicago. Bobrovsky saves 18 out of 20 and 1, and Stalock 29 saves on 31 shots. Excellent game for Stalock. He was in the 3 stars, and that's a feel-good story right there. All right, next up, Pittsburgh in against Calgary. Good news, Pittsburgh's still 10th on the power rankings. Not even kidding. DeSmith versus Markstrom, early jump for the Flames. The Penguins press at 1.5 minutes, but the Flames get a power play. That's killed off. DeSmith looks sharp early, and he'd have to be. The shots are 7-0 for Calgary at 6 minutes, so Calgary's all over them. Which, of course, if you're a Flames fan watching this, you're thinking, that first shot from Pittsburgh's going to go in, isn't it? That's the feeling you get when you see that, right? Penn's press, no shots on net on that press. Rooney has a rush chance that's saved. There was then a puck that lands on DeSmith's net, so it flips over him, and it lands right on top of the net rather than in it. So you're thinking, it might be some good luck. But Kadri would open the scoring from Mangiapane and Dubé at 14-11. Rust's then denied on a rush. The Penguins get a power play. That's killed off. And at 17:42, Kadri gets his second goal of the game. He scores that on a turnover. It was a 2-on-1, and rather than go for the pass, he decides to wire it. Then there was a post for Malkin in the closing seconds. So Pittsburgh had some shots later on in the period, but after the first, it's 2-0 for Calgary. Second period, the Penguins had the early edge, but the Flames get a power play, and they score on it. It's Huberdeau with his first goal as a Flame at 3 minutes from Anderson and Kadri, and it only took a few seconds. It was a nice set play off the faceoff win. Penguins then get a power play, and they answer quickly. It's Malkin from Carter and Poulin at 4:32. So for Poulin, that is his first point, I believe, in the NHL is what they said. So kudos to him. They talked about his dad and then referred to his dad as Samuel Poulin. His dad is Patrick Poulin. This is Samuel Poulin. Penguins press for another. Lewis then had a rush chance to deflect it out. Poulin was denied on a rush. There's some pressure by Pittsburgh there. The shots are 11-2 for Pittsburgh with 9 minutes left. So as lopsided as the first period was for Calgary, the second period is that lopsided for Pittsburgh. But at 11:20, Stone scores from Lucic and Ritchie to make it 4-1. Penguins get a power play. Calgary kills that off. They allow 3 shots. We go to the third period. Kadri had a net drive defended as he was going for the hat trick. Shots are 5-1 for Calgary at 4 minutes. Power play for the Flames. Dubé's denied. That power play's killed off. A few whistles, which is good for Calgary, right? You're trying to kill the clock. Penguins get a power play. Tanev, during this power play, accidentally deflected one onto Markstrom. It was the second time he'd done it in the game. Do not continually deflect pucks at your own goaltender. You do so at your own peril. So the Pens get a power play. Oh, I already read that part. Malkin's denied and close. The Penguins press. They didn't score on that power play either. 6:02 left. The Penguins get another power play. Calgary kills that off. Lucic had a net drive that was saved, and Calgary wins this one 4-1. They go to 5-1 on the season. Pittsburgh drops to 4-2-1. They're not going to like playing in Alberta. The good news is their next game, they're in Vancouver. So that'll be interesting. Shots are 20-6 for Calgary in the first, 21-4 Pittsburgh in the second, and 12-6 Calgary in the third. Final shots, 36-33 for the Flames. Power plays, Pittsburgh 1 for 5, Calgary 1 for 3, and hits 18 apiece in this game. DeSmith saved 32 out of 36. Markstrom, his best game of the season by far. 32 saves on 33 shots. Many of those saves of highlight reel variety. Markstrom's back. So if you're a Flames fan, you can, relax a little bit. Markstrom absolutely appears to be back. This is a quality opponent, and he shut them down. Almost shut them out, if not for Malkin's goal. All right, next up, Buffalo. So the Buffalo Sabres in against the Seattle Kraken. I can't say it's a trap game because Seattle's been playing relatively well. Like, they had that great game against Colorado. Then the game against Chicago got away from them. They should have won that game. They didn't. And that's the thing. If you don't win it, it doesn't matter if you should have. You still didn't win it. But tonight, right out of the gate, they were very good. Comrie versus Jones in this one. And also Owen Power, the #1 draft pick, against the #2 draft pick from that same draft class, Matty Beniers, who played together at University of Michigan. Alexiak on the second shot gets the first goal for Seattle from Sprong and Gord at 2:20. Olofsson had a rush chance that was saved, and then at 5:39 it's Geekie. He gets his first of the season from Tanev and Dunn, buries it on a break. That was their fourth shot. Olofsson is then denied from the slot. Olofsson not having any puck luck tonight. Burakovsky's robbed in close shortly after. The shots are 7-3 for Seattle at the half. They're playing well. The Kraken get a power play. That was killed off. The Sabres got a power play before the period's out. That's killed off as well. So it's 2-0 Seattle after the first. Second period, Seattle would open up even more of a lead. It's Sprong from Tanev at 4:46. It was a fantastic deke by Sprong. I'm not sure why Sprong didn't get a contract that he had to go through the professional tryout route. And then Seattle finally did sign him. I guess the defensive play is a problem with Sprong because offensively it's there. The talent is there. So glad to see him get on the board with a goal and an assist tonight. The shots are 4-1 for Seattle at 7 minutes. So they're doing a good job locking it down at this point. Susi then defends a chance for Peterka. 7 Sabres shots halfway through this game. So maybe they were tired. Maybe Seattle's defense was that good. Sabres press with 8.5 minutes left. They would break the goose egg. It's Cousins from Hinostroza and Dahlin at 12:25, and it was a long press that just wore down Seattle. They couldn't get the line change they needed. Then they get a power play though to the Seattle Kraken, and they score on it. It's McCann from Burakovsky and Dunn at 16:07, and it feels like the new members of this team are really helping to bring that power play up for Seattle. Could be dangerous. It was a good cycle that led to that goal. So things get scrappy with 2:21 left. Sabres come out of that with a power play. There's a shorthanded 2-on-1 that misfires. There's a post for Thompson. That power play is killed off. Schwartz then had a rush chance that was held before the period's out. But after 2 periods, it's 4-1 for Seattle. And I didn't feel like we were going to see a collapse. As we get further into the season, those goals, like 2-goal leads, 3-goal leads, the collapses, they're going to happen a lot less often. Third period, near miss for Wenberg on a 3-on-2. Sabres get a power play. Really aggressive penalty kill by Seattle here. Schultz did exit, but he did come back. There was a shorthanded break for Kuhlman. That's denied. The Sabres score. What's interesting with this is it was on a delayed penalty. So it's offside. They challenge for offside, and they go, yep, that's offside. But because of the fact there was a delayed penalty, well, now it's 37 seconds of 5-on-3. Jones makes saves. Alexiak clears it out so they can get a change of their penalty killers. They killed it off. Impressive play by the Kraken. Seattle gets a power play. They score on theirs. At 9:45, it's Matty Beniers that takes all tension out of this game from Schultz and Sprong. So Schultz comes back onto the ice and gets himself a point after getting hurt in the second, and Sprong with his third point of the game. Really strong game for Beniers, too. That makes it 5-1, and it went in off Pilot's stick, because sometimes you got to be lucky to be good. Geeky's then denied on a rush, but yeah, 5-1's your final score. Seattle goes to 3-3-2 with the win. Buffalo drops to 4-2 with the loss. The shots 11-5 Seattle in the first, 8-5 Seattle in the second, 6-5 Buffalo in the third. Not a lot of shots. 24-16 for Seattle. Power plays 0-4 for Buffalo, 2-3 was for Seattle. Hits 15-12 for Seattle. Comrie saves 19 out of 24. Jones saved 15 out of 16. Let's be honest. The goaltending numbers I talked about in this morning's preview tell you that, yeah, Seattle's key here for the rest of the season might be limit the chances for your opposition. Keep them to 20 shots, around 20 shots, or ideally below 20 as they did tonight, and you've got a really good chance at victory. So it may not be the prettiest hockey Seattle plays from here, but it may work. I mean, they have 8 points. They're in the running for third spot in a Pacific Division that hasn't had a good start to the season. But hey, you know, if you get into third spot in a division, get into the playoffs, that's really all that matters. All right, next up, Tampa Bay in against the Kings. So, Vasilevsky versus Quick in this one. This was an entertaining game. Kempe had a rush chance that was blocked out. Quick holds on to a flurry shot. Power play for the Kings. There was a shorthanded rush by Hagel that was saved. Hagel had a very good game. Power plays killed off. But then it's Danault. He scores from Velarde and Anderson at 7:20. It's buried in close. I think the announcers were surprised that Tampa Bay didn't challenge it. That they're looking going, did that cross the line? Did it? Are we sure? And even watching on TV, I'm like, I don't know. But nobody challenged. So, yeah, goal. Bolts get a power play. That's killed off. But then Hagel scores unassisted at 15-14. So that ties up the game. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. The Kings pressed with a minute and a half left. 1:09 left. The Bolts get a power play. Then with 26.2 seconds left, it becomes a 4-on-4. Bit of a parade there. So second period to start off, all the rest of the penalties, power plays killed off. Stamkos fires one wide on a turnover. Perbix had a shot that was held as the Bolts press. Lizotte to Lemieux blocked out, so that one didn't go. Lemieux might have had a goal there. Kings get a power play, and it's Gabe Velarde. Yep. Velarde gets a goal to go with his assist. Doughty and Fiala with the assists at 5:03. So Gabe Velarde, 9 points in 8 games. Not bad for the kid right now. Bolts press to answer. Perry has a shot that's blocked. Kings press at the half. Moore blasts one wide. And then Lizotte gives them a 2-goal lead, which is key because, you know, this is against Tampa. Clark and Kaliev with the assists at 13-17. The Bolts answer, but they're offside. So we've started to see more and more offside goals getting called back now that we're getting into the meat of the season. And I think it's, I don't know, is it a sign that linesmen just aren't calling it as well, or is it a sign that guys are getting a little sloppier on the entries? Clark had a rush chance that was saved, and so we go to the third period with the score 3-1 for the Kings. Moore's denied in close. Bolts get a power play. Kings don't let them set up. But then it becomes 40 minutes of 5-on-3. Stamkos was denied. The Kings cleared out. There's a shorthanded 2-on-1. Byfield can't quite bury there. The shots are 7-3 for the Kings at 8.5 minutes, which is impressive considering they'd had a 5-on-3 they were killing off. Power play for the Kings. Byfield's tip is saved. That's killed off. Byfield was all over the ice. It's only a matter of time before that puck really starts going in for him. Kopitar's denied. He was in too tight on that opportunity. By the time he got it, he was right on the doorstep. Vasilevsky's not going to give you an opening there. Kopitar was robbed again, but then the robbery ends when Kempe gets a goal on a 2-on-1. He just blasted it from Kopitar at 14:30, so that makes it 4-1. Tampa Bay pulls the goaltender because why not? And they scored 6-on-5. It was Kucherov at 17:44. Brings a little bit of tension into the game, but not that much. I didn't think the Kings were losing a 3-goal lead. They go to 4-4 with the 4-2 victory. Tampa Bay drops back below 500. They're 3-4 on the season. The shots, 7 apiece in the first, 11-9 LA in the second, 15-10 LA in the third. Final shots, 33-26 for the Kings. Power plays, Tampa Bay 0-4, LA 1-4. The hits, 28-15 in favor of the LA Kings. Vasilevsky saves 29 out of 33. Quick saved 23 out of 25. And there you go. The LA Kings back to 500. And as I said, the Pacific Division's had a bit of a rough start, but some of these teams might be picking it up. Next up, last up, Vegas in against the San Jose Sharks. Let's put a score on this, shall we? Just going to say straight up, I apologize for any mistakes I'm making this video. I've been up since 5 a.m. this morning. I'm tired. It's about 11 p.m. as I'm finishing this up. So Vegas in against the San Jose Sharks. This is it used to be a rivalry. It really doesn't feel like one anymore. It was Hill versus Reimer, and it's game 990 for Phil the Thrill. Now, I've done a career video on Phil Kessel not too long ago. I did it during the summer when he signed with Vegas. So I'm not doing a career video on Kessel, but I got to do something, right? So we'll see over the next couple of days. I'll throw something together, and we can discuss Phil Kessel and how he's the Iron Man and doesn't look like an Iron Man. But to be honest, neither did Doug Jarvis. And Keith Yandel doesn't, I mean, Rod Brindamore looks like Iron Man, right? But that's more of the, if you're going to cast Iron Man using somebody from the NHL, it'd have to be Rod Brindamore, right? We could do that. We could cast the Marvel Universe using hockey players, coaches, and GMs. No. So the shots are 3-1 for Vegas at 3.5 minutes. Bruce Boudreau can be kingpin, right? All right, so shots are 3-1 for Vegas at 3.5 minutes. LeBanc has a shot that's blocked. The Sharks press at 5.5 minutes. Vegas presses at the half, so there's good pressure back and forth here. Carrier couldn't bury one in close. Reimer's keeping it scoreless. And then it happens, Phil the Thrill. So he sets the record and he gets the goal as I'd hoped. I mentioned it in the news video today and it happened. He gets goal number 400 from Howden at 15:51. And since Sheldon Keefe's not in the building to challenge the goal, it counts. And it's on a rush. It's a beautiful goal. There you go. He gets goal number 400. The Sharks press in the closing seconds, but it's 1-0 Vegas after the first. One quibble I had with this game, this review has been delayed because ESPN had the doubleheader, so this game's puck drop was about 15 minutes after what it should have been. They still didn't show the puck drop live anyways because they were still showing the Rangers in Colorado. Just aggravating. But second period, Meyer can't bury one in close. Hits by Meyer are drawing cheers. What Meyer needs is a goal. He doesn't have one yet. We're 9 games into the season for San Jose. No goals for Meyer. Shots are 7-2 for the Sharks at 5 minutes, and eventually they break through. At 5:33, it's Sturm from LeBanc and Svechnikov. And then the Sharks, with that tying goal, they press for the lead. There's more Sharks presser with 8.5 minutes left. Things get kind of pushy after a hold by Hill, who used to be San Jose's goaltender. Vegas gets a power play. That's killed off. 2 shots allowed on that. That's the only power play Vegas had tonight. LeBanc has a shot that deflects out. San Jose presses, and eventually they get the lead. At 19:25, one of those last-minute goals, which can be so important, it's Nieto from Hertl and Vlasic. But what else is important is those goals in the first minute of a period. So we go to the third period, Vegas's wheelhouse. Theodore scores from McNabb and Marchessault at 55 seconds. So that ties it up. Takes some of the wind out of the building. And then Meyer couldn't bury one in close. A goalie interference call gives the Sharks a power play. It's killed off just the one shot for San Jose on the power play. Shots are 4-3 for Vegas at 5.5 minutes. Carlson at a rush. Reimer holds on that. So it's William Carlson, not Eric Carlson. Kessel at a rush. That's kicked aside, so he can't get goal number 401. That's okay. Stevenson's denied on a fast break, and then William Carlson is not. So both Carlsons in this game, one gets a goal, one doesn't. And so Carlson scores from Smith and Martinez at 13:13, makes it 3-2. And then, very Vegas-like, about a minute later, they score again. It's Stone from Stevenson and Theodore at 14:15. So San Jose, down by a couple, they pull the goaltender with 4:02 left. Nieto had a rush chance that was held. There was shot blocking by Couture. There was shot blocking by other members of the Sharks, preventing empty net goals. But in the end, with 27.4 seconds left, they get a 6-on-4 with the power play. They can't get anything. They lose 4-2. San Jose goes to 2-7 with the loss. Vegas goes to a commanding 6-2 with the win. So it looks like Vegas and Calgary are clearly the top 2 teams in the Pacific. We'll see if it stays that way as everybody plays everybody else. But the shots in this one, 14-6 Vegas in the first, 16-7 San Jose in the second, 10-9 Vegas in the third. Final shots, 31 apiece. Power plays, Vegas 0-1, San Jose 0-2, and that's where you can tell that the feud is basically done. These teams are no longer in the same area code when it comes to actual expectations, and it just takes away a lot of that feud. 22-14 were the hits in favor of the Sharks. Hill saves 29 out of 31. Reimer saves 27 out of 31. So Adin Hill with a very good game against his former team. And again, Vegas is starting to look like a team that's really good at rehabbing goaltenders, along the same line as a few other teams in the league that are pretty good at rehabbing goaltenders, looking at the New York Islanders as an obvious example. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support, and especially for people who watch the entire review. You guys are awesome. You're great. I know there's people that do it, and I thank you for that. I will talk to you guys again soon. Thankfully, tomorrow there's just the 3 games, and I will watch those, and I'll review those tomorrow night.